What is good, my fellow crypto hustlers and moon boys? It's Seth with Ascent 22. The crypto market is screaming bullish. Bitcoin is making the impossible happen. Cardano has broken the all-time highs and has taken the third position away from Binance on CoinMarketCap. I have my eyes set on 3 altcoins that are about to shoot for the moon if Bitcoin doesn't try anything funny with the price drop. Let's take a look at these. As you guys already know, the content is free, the jokes are free. All I ask is you help a brother out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get the channel to 100 subscribers. Now, before looking at any altcoins on the list, we gotta do our due diligence and look at Bitcoin first, because we know Bitcoin dictates the general direction of the market, and we are not going to see any massive bullishness if Bitcoin is falling. So let's jump right into Bitcoin's chart. We are looking at the daily price chart for Bitcoin at the moment, and from the chart, we see that Bitcoin's price is still trading in this ascending wedge pattern, right? And we know this pattern is bearish, and it normally predicts with a high probability that price will drop very soon, right? But from the chart, we see that the price of Bitcoin is continuing the trend upwards, right? So Bitcoin is not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on.
Even though we've seen altcoins like Cardano, Luna, and Solana suck liquidity out of Bitcoin's market cap, there's still a high possibility that Bitcoin will reach $52,000 very soon. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's weekly chart now. We are looking at the weekly chart for Bitcoin at the moment, and from this chart, it is clear to see that the price of Bitcoin is going very bullish at the moment, right? Even though Bitcoin is stuck in the ascending wedge pattern, which normally indicates that there's a high probability that price will drop very soon, Bitcoin is not doing that, right? Bitcoin seems to be closing the 5th green weekly candle in a row, and this shows high momentum for Bitcoin, right? Let's bring up the MACD. Let me do a little bit of cleanup. And from the MACD, we see that if you guys have been following this channel, they definitely know that I've had my eyes on the MACD for a pretty long time, right? I've been looking at this blue line for the MACD, and I've been comparing it with the signal line, this orange line, right? At the moment, the MACD is still maintaining its position above the signal line. The signal line is sitting at 818, and the MACD is still sitting at, it's at the moment at 1048. So this is highly bullish. It shows a good amount of momentum behind Bitcoin. So we now know that there's a high probability that the price of Bitcoin continues in the uptrend and goes for the $52,000 price level. So now let's look at the first moon coin on the list. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Before jumping into the chart for Ethereum, I gotta say this about the altcoins. When it comes to the altcoins, there's much more risk involved since they are highly volatile, even much more volatile than Bitcoin. So the best way to judge them is against Bitcoin. So I will not be looking at the altcoins against US dollars. I'll only be looking at the altcoins against Bitcoin. So now let's look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. We are looking at the Ethereum versus Bitcoin pair at the moment. And from this chart, we see that Ethereum has broken out of this descending wedge pattern, right? So in my last prediction, I was saying that Ethereum would break out of this pattern and head up, right, against Bitcoin. And guess what? That has happened exactly like I predicted. Ethereum, I have my price target sitting at this point, but then we see that Ethereum did go halfway through that. I still have my price target at this point, so I'm waiting for Ethereum to get to this price level. But then we see that after Bitcoin started gaining momentum, we see that Ethereum price against Bitcoin started dropping, right? And it is dropping in the same fashion that it was dropping over here, right? So this is the same pattern, right? This is a descending wedge pattern, and we see a descending wedge pattern also over here, right? So there's also another descending wedge pattern, right? And this is also it's also bullish. This pattern is bullish. So I expect Ethereum's price against Bitcoin to rise soon. And if Ethereum's price rises against Bitcoin, then we know that versus the US dollar, Ethereum will actually also rise even faster, because Bitcoin, we know, outperforms US dollar. So we know Ethereum will definitely outperform the US dollar if it outperforms Bitcoin. So from the chart, we see that Ethereum has a lot of room to cover against Bitcoin, a lot of bullish room to cover against Bitcoin. So as long as Bitcoin doesn't fall, then Ethereum will go bullish against Bitcoin and will start dominating Bitcoin, at least in the short term. Now let's look at the second moon coin on the list. Let's look at Cardano. We are looking at the Cardano versus Bitcoin pair at the moment. And from the chart, we see that Cardano is going pretty bullish against Bitcoin at the moment, right? So Cardano recently also broke a major resistance line. So this resistance line over here, this has been a major resistance line holding us back for a long time. And Cardano recently broke that. Cardano is currently testing that in the ascending wedge pattern. to see whether it will hold that as support. If it does hold that as support, Cardano will definitely shoot up and go crazy against Bitcoin, right? And if Cardano goes crazy against Bitcoin and shoot up, we know Cardano will go crazy against the US dollar. If Cardano is able to stay above that resistance line and convert that to a support line, then Cardano will do some crazy numbers against Bitcoin and against the US dollar for sure. But now let's take a look at our third moon coin on the list. Let's take a look at Ripple. We are looking at Ripple versus Bitcoin pair at the moment. And from the chart, we see that after Ripple broke out of this descending wedge pattern, this descending wedge pattern is bullish. So I was expecting price to go hit this target, right? But price did went a little bit over halfway through it and didn't touch that. It didn't touch that price level. At the moment, we see that the price is in a ascending wedge pattern, right? So this pattern over here is the ascending wedge pattern, and this is actually bearish, right? But I expect Ripple to go up to meet this target that I had, right? So this target that I had, I expect Ripple to meet this target at the, I think that's the 28,000. Yeah, the 28,000 Satoshi level. So I expect Ripple to go touch that Satoshi level. That is about 8% from here. We can only see these three altcoins rally if Bitcoin's price does not fall and it stays in the ascending wedge pattern or even breaks higher. Now, if you have not yet taken advantage of the 7.5% APY interest rates from BlockFi, definitely check out the links in the description and get $10 in Bitcoin with your sign up as well. And also check out this video for my recent price analysis on Solana.